Hello everyone, hope you're having a wonderful day. Keegan from the Poke2 here, and today guys we're going to be going over my Graveborn and Berserker build. It is got some insanely high burst damage output, all thanks to a few things that have been found out recently. I'm going to go over one of the main things that makes this build work so well, and that is the selective amnesia class mod. Now when you first look at this, it doesn't look that great because you're going to be applying a fire status effect to yourself. And it's going to increase your movement speed and leave a fire trail for 3 seconds. While this effect is active, damage dealt is increased by movement speed. Now, when I first read this, I thought the faster you move, the more damage you're going to be doing. No, basically when you're just on fire, any increase that you have to movement speed converts to damage. So say if you're you plop a Buffmeister that gives you 60% increased movement speed, you're going to be getting 60% increased damage. Now, a massive shout out to PUGLYS. He was the one that found this out. I'll leave a link to his channel in the description below. He definitely is going to explain this way better than I am. So make sure you go check out that legend, go show him some support. Let's jump over to the skills first, guys. Now, we are going to be taking Reaper of Bones. Reaper of Bones is like the core mechanic of this whole entire build. And that is because we are going to be taking a constant dot on ourselves. And the reason why that is so good, like I explained at the start with that class mod, is it's going to keep that fire status effect on you the whole time you're in Reaper of Bones. So therefore, instead of it lasting for 3 seconds, it's going to be lasting the whole time you're in Reaper of Bones. So you can get that damage increase by movement speed all the time, which is fantastic because you pair that with the Cursed Wit, because your shield is never going to be recharging while you're in Reaper of Bones. Also, you can get up to like 200% extra damage just from the class mod and just from shield, which is kind of nuts. And that's before we get into anything with the skill tree. Now for the skills, obviously, if you've seen some of my other Graveborn builds, it's looking very, very similar. So we'll just quickly go through it. Obviously, we're taking Faithful Thralls because we're using the Pixie Companion. And the more companions we have out, the more damage we do. This is a global damage multiplier. So it's fantastic. We can get up to like 100% extra damage just from Faithful Thralls. We are taking Essence Drain, which is a kill skill. It's just going to help us get Buffmeister back quicker. We're maxing out Dark Pact, which is going to give us 20% increase to dark magic damage. I'll explain why that is fantastic very, very soon. We're also taking Harvest, which is another kill skill. Companions deal bonus dark magic damage for a duration. This effect can stack. Really, really awesome. Helps the Pixies do a load of dark magic damage, which is good for us because then that health comes to us when we're in Reaper of Bones, and it just keeps us in Reaper of Bones for an insane amount of time. Now we are taking Stain the Soul. We're going to get 2 points in Stain the Soul. The Fatemaker spells deal bonus dark magic damage, and that is really good because when we're using our Pixies, they are obviously scale off spell damage, so they are going to be now hitting with dark magic damage as well as cryo damage. And that's obviously going to be buffed off the Harvest, obviously buffed off Dark Pact, buffed off the Reaper of Bones, dark magic bonus damage increase as well. So it's really, really good. The Pixies can hit pretty hard with dark magic damage, even though they're not dark magic. It's kind of nuts. We're going to take Ascension, which is another kill skill. Maximum health and spell damage is increased for a long duration. This is really good because obviously the Pixies scale off spell damage. So as we're getting killed, it's just really good to buff our Pixies up, and obviously the health increase is really nice as well. We are taking Lord of Edges here. The Fatemaker gains increased damage dealt and damage reduction. The lower is healthy. This is just really fantastic. Why we're running Reaper of Bones, because we're going to be constantly taking damage. So like the lower our health gets, the damage reduction and the damage dealt is just going to be fantastic, because then we can try and get that health back quicker and maybe not take so much damage so we don't fall out of Reaper of Bones. Blastgraph is awesome because again, a Pixies scale off spell damage, so they proc Blastgraph. So it's just extra damage for free basically. It's kind of like Double Knot but not as strong. Then we are taking Maham's Blessing, which is whenever we cast a spell, we automatically activate all our kill skills. So that's Ascension, Dark Hydras, Harvest, Essence Drain, and also Blood Frenzy. For the Berserker tree, we are taking Ancestral Frost. We're maxing out our Frost damage, an extra 20%, which is good because Pixie scale off Frost damage. You're going to hear me say something about the Pixies like every 10 seconds. I'm sorry, guys. I know they're super meta right now. We have the Icebreaker. The Fatemaker gains increased damage dealt the more the enemies are slowed up till frozen. So when they're frozen, we can deal up to 30% increased damage. This is really nice. Another global damage multiplier. we are taking maxed out, we are maxing out the old ways. This just gives us 30% damage when we're very close to an enemy, and 40% damage reduction when we're very close to an enemy as well. Now, when Cursed Wit is depleted, we get 17% increased damage reduction. Now we are taking 25% when our health is very, very low, and we're taking 40% when we're very close to enemies. So we can get up to like 80% damage reduction, which is fantastic for survivability. We are taking 2 points into Cold Snap, guys, 2 points. The other 2 points are from the class mod. Now, this is really good with the class mod because, like I said, any of the movement speed increases that we have convert to damage when we're on fire. So this is awesome. When we're in rage, we're going to be getting up to 24% increased movement speed, which converts to 24% damage when we are taking that fire status effect damage from the class mod. Unarmored defense, really good. It reserves a portion of our ward by 50% and increases our health by 100%, 150% of that reserved ward number. So obviously we're just using the Cursed Wit. You probably don't need this as much. You could probably drop a point into Relentless Rage if you find that you're going down a lot. This will keep you in Save Yourself for longer, and then when you come back out, you'll be enraged. Then you'll get this 24%. You'll have increased damage if you got hit and you're on fire. So this might be better for survivability. I have just taken this because it gives them more health. So more health means we got more time in Reaper of Bones, or we can get more time in Reaper of Bones. Blood Frenzy is just really, really good for this build because it's a kill skill. It restores a portion of our health and increases our enraged time if we are enraged, which is fantastic because obviously when Reaper of Bones, we're going to be getting kills really quickly. So we're always going to be getting portions of our health back like every couple of seconds, and then it's increasing our rage time so we can be enraged, in Reaper of Bones, getting all the bonuses, being on fire the whole time. It's kind of nuts. That's kind of nuts how this build works, and that is why I really, really like it. That is pretty much it for the skills there, guys. We're going to go into the hero point. Now we are maxing out our strength, so we got more crit hit damage. We are maxing out our dexterity, so we can get more crit, so we have more crit chance. I have put points into skill cooldown, just in case we come out of Reaper of Bones, we can get Reaper of Bones back quicker. I feel like if you want to have more survivability, you could probably just put all the points into Constitution. I might actually put all the points to Constitution, just try it out. Again, I just put it in the skill cooldown, just in case we come out of Reaper of Bones. That is it for the skills and hero points. Let's move on to the weapons, and we don't really need to talk about much, it's just a pixie pistol. No, obviously the pixie pistol is the main 99.9% source of the damage. It obviously, I know you guys know how strong the pixies are, so we don't even need to go over how strong the pixies are. I just like how they work with Blastgrass and this build, because it kind of feels like a spell shot build, which is obviously very, very meta right now. And that's kind of what I wanted to try and do with this build, because I know Spell Shot and Stabbo are just super, super meta classes right now. You can put anything with Spell Shot, anything with Stabbo, and you're probably going to be doing a bucket ton, an absolute F ton of damage. So I thought I would try and make Greyborn kind of like a meta class, doing as much damage as what Spell Shot and Stabbo can do. So I had to use the Pixie Pistol to achieve that, unfortunately, but you can use the Throwable Hole, and another very good mention is the Ruby Spike. Both of these guns have received buff. I'm not actually using builds for them, and they work really, really well. I will show clips of the Ruby Spike working in a Chaos Chamber right now. Again, I'm not taking any bonuses to gun damage or anything like that. I'm just purely using this build, and it is still shredding. The only issue and cons I have to the Throwable Hole and the Ruby Spike is when you're in Reaper of Bones. Sometimes the enemies just aren't around you, and you'll just deplete out of Reaper of Bones really quickly because you are putting a fire status effect and you're taking a damage over the time effect as well. So you kind of fall out of Reaper of Bones pretty quickly. So that's one, those are pretty much the negatives to these guns. Same with like Throwable Hole, like, because you have to throw it on the ground, it makes the puddle, and then you throw another gun there and it makes the puddle bigger, and then you got to wait for that to explode. Mind you, that explosion does do a lot of damage. You can increase ability damage in the Berserker tree, area damage, sorry, in the Berserker tree, and that would probably be really, really strong. But I will leave, if you guys do want like more gun kind of build, I will leave links in the description below to some people that have done like a Ruby Spite build and are using like more dark magic kind of gun build. But I wanted to try and just see if I could make this meta, I just wanted to see if I could try and make this compete with some of the meta build. And because of PUGLYS find with this, I think it gets pretty close to just absolutely melting enemies. Obviously, those are the really only the 3 guns I use for this build. I'm just trying to use that like a shotgun. I really would ideally want a dark magic sword explosion on ×3. I feel like that would work really well with the build. We have the big bad super soaker. Obviously, you just shoot this at a boss, and because I'm using the frost damage with the pixies, it just helps get a little bit more extra damage at the start of the fight while I'm getting everything ready for the big burst damage. For the melee weapon, we do have the snake stick. I'm only using this because I've got the good enchant on it, and it's got echo, which is fantastic. You would have seen that in some of the clips at the start. Realistically, you'd want the peg leg for this build. I know Pugly explains this in his video, but obviously the peg leg, you can get 30% increased movement speed just on melee damage. And again, I've got this with echo because one of the most broken melee passives you can have on a melee weapon. So obviously I would like the peg leg, it just doesn't have the same enchant that the snake stick has. So until I can get it with Y action skills to active increase dark magic damage, I'm still going to use the snake stick because it just performs that a little bit better than me trying to get the increase of dark magic damage on spellcast. So that is why only reason why we're using the snake stick is because it's got the enchant. And echo is fantastic with this build because the companions is going to fly around, do an absolute bucket ton of damage. He's going to walk up to a guy and he's going to poof, and he's going to disappear. It's insane how much damage echo can actually do if you're doing an insane amount of damage. Now we've already gone over there where you're using the cursed wit. If you can get the cursed wit with Y ward is depleted, increase movement speed by 10%. That will obviously be fantastic for the build because that's going to increase your damage while you're on fire. We got the class mod here, guys. Obviously, I mentioned this at the start. Ideally, I would want Graveborn and Berserker power. Stamina on Berserker, it's not too bad. The Graveborn power would help with the Blast Grasp damage as well as more dark magic damage while in Reaper of Bones. So it would definitely help if you have this in Graveborn Berserker. But I don't think it's going to matter that much, because the +2 to cold snap is awesome because it gives us more increased movement speed and that doubles while we're in rage, so that becomes a damage multiplier while we're on fire. And the passives are really nice here. Again, you probably might want movement speed on it because again that becomes a damage multiplier when you're on fire. Nothing special with the necklace, again just taking the Frenzied Wrath. I've got frost damage and Graveborn power on here. That's pretty good. Maybe you want dark magic damage, Berserker, or maybe you want dark magic damage and Graveborn. I am trying to get a dark magic and Graveborn one just to try that out, but I currently don't have one somehow. The passive for the Frenzied Wrath obviously is really good with the pixies, because as me and the pixies get kills, it's going to be buffing the companion damage up by 20%, can stack for 5 times. So you can get 100% increased companion damage, which is really nice. But again, you could probably take a blood bag if you want more survivability. So like when you're gaining that health from dark magic, you're going to be increasing your actual health number instead of it just going to nothing really, which I feel like could be really good for survivability. Might not take you out of Reaper of Bones when you might be able to survive a hit every so often. So again, like blood bag's pretty good. Spell, we're going to be using the dark magic Buffmeister. Probably could use an Ice Buffmeister. I'm using the dark one because it's going to boost my dark magic damage so I can get more health and do more dark magic. It's going to boost my dark magic damage so I can do more dark magic damage and receive more health on the damage that I am doing. Obviously, the Buffmeister increases your speed by 60%. All Buffmeisters do that. Do not worry. That is just a built-in feature for the Buffmeister. You get a 60% increased movement speed, so that's going to apply as damage when you're on fire. We got Kachow, Zap's obviously going to boost our spell damage. Awesome, because pixies scale off. Effing spell damage. I know I've said this so many times. I'm sorry. The pixies are just so effing broken. They're just meta right now. Obviously, the rings were taking companion damage, both companion damage. Like I said, if you want to run a gun build, you probably just switch these out to gun damage. Like I can change these to gun damage, and the Ruby Spite just destroys. And I haven't even got the build for it. So and then the enchants, obviously, I've just taken all Y action skill as active enchant. So we got Y action skill as active, increased dark magic damage, increased frost damage because we're running the pixies of frost, and we want to increase their dark magic damage as well. And then we're obviously increasing companion damage because obviously we're running the pixies. And then for the weapons, we just have rivalry loading. I increase my companion critical hit chance, and on spellcast increase ability damage, which is pretty good because the gun puddles for this do scale off ability damage. Before we end the video, I'd like to quickly go over some of the pros and cons of this build, because as good as it looks, there are obviously some negatives to this, and one of the biggest negatives is that when you're in Reaper Bones, sometimes you don't see an enemy's attack coming, and it just knocks you out of Reaper Bones, and that obviously because we're using Reaper Bones to get such high burst damage output. Sometimes like with the pixies you're not going to notice, but if you're trying to use other stuff you will notice a massive damage fall off, which is, it's kind of annoying, but once you get the flow of it, once you get used to actually playing the class, it's not too bad to just try and stay back and like just make sure that your Reaper of Bones is up all the time, and then I usually go in for the melee hits with Echo and you get big damage with that. The other con is effing Banshee, bro. You cannot use pixies on Banshee. They just don't work. I don't know if it's actually Banshee does something to them, like, or if it's just a bug, or I don't know. So I do use the Ruby Spine. I do make sure I take some gun damage rings. I take the Ruby Spine. I just use the Ruby Spine whenever I have to deal with the Banshee. You deal with the Banshee pretty quick with the Ruby Spine. It's still a bit of a slug and tug, but you get there. You definitely get there. And that's really the cons. Obviously the pros is you get massive high burst damage, and I'm going to show that right now. We're just going to go and visit our boy the Parasite, and I'm going to quickly show you guys how this actually works. So we're going to use the big Super Soaker first. We're going to go down there. We're going to say hello to our little mushroom buddy. Hey bud. There we go. We're going to hit him. Oh, already got hit by that. That's fantastic. Use Reaper of Bones now. He's going to go like that, and he's dead. There we go. All dead. That wasn't the best because, I mean, I got hit at the start. Ideally, I would like to, you know, dance around and get the companions out. Pop Reaper Bone, pop the Buffmeister, and get him. But you can see there, you just do insane amounts of damage when Reaper of Bones is up. And obviously, I wanted to be like close to him because we're gonna get that 30% damage increase as well. But other than that, guys, that's basically it. Thank you so much for watching another build. I know is using the Pixie Companions, but I feel like because I've made that Frost Shot build, I kind of need to make a build better, if not the same tier as that. I don't know. I feel like I can't make a fun build that's not going to be as strong as the other builds that I've made. It just would feel weird and out of place. I don't know. But again, thank you so much for checking out this video, guys. If it did help you out, make sure you leave a like. It greatly helps the channel out. Until next time, guys, take care, stay safe, and peace out.